Hey guys, it's Nitro here, and today I want to cover the patch notes that just came out for patch 10.0.7. This will be the next patch coming out, and wow. And let's just get right into it. There's a lot here to cover. So, Return to the Forbidden Reach. Players return to the Forbidden Reach to learn more of the story of the Dragthir Evoker awakening now that the defeat of Razaketh has been secured. This zone includes new content for max level players, delving into the troubles left behind by the meddling of the primalists and the chaos they've left behind among the elements. Players will discover hidden treasure rooms with the Dragon Scale Expedition, encounter new bosses and objectives, more storms, new loot to add to their arsenal, and more. So I'm guessing this is like the new story, the new like main story for the game. Alright, so the next thing, the Monk is added to new races. So now Lightforged Draenei, Worgen, Goblins can now play as monks. Interesting. Seeing a Goblin Monk is going to be kind of weird. Lightforged Draenei and Worgen Monk NPCs have made their homes in Stormwind. Goblin Monk NPCs have made their home in all the other Horde cities, looks like. Okay, now time for the class changes. Death Knight, Unholy. Epidemic will swap places with Unholy Blight within the talent tree. By the way, I only play Hunter. I don't know what any of this means. If this is good or bad. We can kind of like see what's going to be good or bad based on like buffs and nerfs, but like a swap on the talent tree, not really sure what that means for you Death Knights, but let me know if it's a buff or nerf if you're a Death Knight. Pestilence implementation has been updated to better reflect the functionality of the tooltip. Rotten Touch duration increased to 10 seconds, that's a buff. Runic Mastery now also increases Runic Corruption's rune generation rate by an additional 10 to 20%. Commander of the Dead has been updated to always buff your nearby Gargoyle or Dark Arbiter and Army of the Dead Ghouls for 30 seconds after using Dark Transformation. Okay, now the Druid. Protector of the Pack's cap now stores up to 400% of the Druid's spell power for Balance, Feral, and Guardian, and 300% spell power for Restoration. So that is a buff, alright. It was 240% for all specs before. Resto, new talent, Tranquil Mind. Ooh, new talent. Okay, increases Omen of Clarity's chance to activate clear casting to 5%, and clear casting can stack one additional time. Another new talent. Wow, this is getting some love here. Deep Focus. When Moonfire, Rake, Rip, or Rejuvenation are active on a single target, their effects are increased by 40%. That sounds really strong. Embrace of the Dream now also triggers on targets with the Regrowth Heal over time effect. Regenerative Heartwood now also extends the duration of Ironbark by 4 seconds. Natural Wisdom is now a baseline effect on Innervate for Restoration Druids. No longer increases mana regeneration by 5%, and additional Innervate's effectiveness has been reduced to 50%, was 100%. Improved Wild Growth has moved to a new location, one slot to the right. Cultivation has moved to improved Wild Growth's previous location. Nourish has moved to Cultivation's previous location. Tranquil Mind occupies Nourish's previous location. So there's a lot of talent tree changes here for the Resto Druid. The Forest's Flow/Wild Synthesis Choice node has moved to a new location directly below Nourish's new location. Embrace of the Dream and Budding Leaves have swapped locations. Germination and Power of the Archdruid have swapped locations. Invigorate is no longer on a choice node with Power of the Archdruid and has moved locations to directly beneath Overgrowth. Power of the Archdruid is now on a choice node with Undergrowth. Circle of Life and Death is now on a choice node with Deep Focus. So I know Restoration Druid was already really strong. I think it's probably in the top 2 for Mythic Plus, and it's obviously strong with Raid as well. Always has been. So I feel like this could be, I mean, they have new talents, which is nice, but it also could be nerfs or buffs depending on these skill tree changes. Not too sure. The rest of Druids, let me know what you think. Skill tree changes are, you know, a little scary, but if they needed to be done, then that's a good thing. But if it was already good, then these changes could be bad. Under the Evoker. Dragthir's racial ability Chosen Identity will now also cause Dragthir to automatically assume their Visage form when they resurrect. Dragthir now know the aerial halt ability, like Dragonriding Drakes, that allow them to significantly reduce their forward movement. Draconic Legacy now increases stamina by 3 or 6%, it was 2 to 4%, so that's a very small buff. Foci of Life has been redesigned. Renewing Blaze restores you more quickly, causing damage you take to be healed back over 4 seconds. Ancient Flame has been redesigned. Casting Emerald Blossom or Verdant Embrace reduces the cast time of your next living flame by 40%. Ancient Flame has been moved to Roar of Exhilaration's location in the talent tree. Roar of Exhilaration has been removed. Oh, don't know what that does, but I generally don't like when Blizzard removes things because I play a hunter and they just removed double tap last patch, and I really like double tap, but I guess it was hard for them to balance it in PvP. I think instead of straight up removing an ability that players have been using for years, they should try to balance it or change it somehow instead of just completely removing it. I feel like that's a little lazy on their part. Devastation Evoker, the only change you have is Verdant Embrace healing increased by 35%. Alright, Monk has one change for the Mistweaver spec. Thunder Focus Tea now causes Envelop and Mist to become instant cast in addition to its current effect. That's a buff. Paladin Protection. Faith in the Light's block chance increased to 15 to 30%, was 5 to 10%. Okay, that's a buff right there. Focus Enmity has been redesigned. When a Bender Shield strikes a single enemy, it deals additional holy damage. Okay. Corrected a tooltip error. Alright, so just a bug effect. Retribution. A major rework for Retribution's Paladin's underway, and more changes will be coming out in future PTR builds. Yeah, they're redesigning Retribution in the next patch. From their previous post, which you can check out, it kind of just goes over that I think there's a lot of button clutter and like there's a lot of buttons to press, and their talent tree is wacky, so they're gonna start the Retribution from the ground up and totally redesign the spec. I'm very interested to see how that how that's gonna work in terms of their balance, because right now Retribution Paladins, if played properly, are really strong, especially after the 10.0.5 patch, because they got buffed a lot. I've been playing a lot of rats and they've been pumping. Disc Priests, fix an issue, or it's just like a bug fix. Shaman. Oh, Shaman, this is your patch. Hopefully it's your patch. I know people have been complaining about rest of Shamans. Earth Elemental and Primal Earth Elemental no longer taunt or pulse threat to enemies that Shaman is not in combat with. That sounds like a quality of life feature. Earth Elemental and Primal Earth Elemental no longer taunt or pulse threat enemies. They're attacking a player with a tank spec. Okay, that's good. Astral Shift duration increased to 12 seconds, was 8. Planes Traveler no longer increases the duration of Astral Shift. Astral Bulwark now reduces damage taken by an additional 20%, so that's a buff. It was 15. Improved Lightning Bolt removed. Thunderstorm has been moved to improve Lightning Bolt's position in the talent tree. Lightning Bolt damage increased by 20% for all specs. Go with the Flow, that's a cool spec talent. Now reduces the cooldown of Spirit Walk by 10 to 20 seconds, so that's a buff. It was 7.5, 15. Thunderous Pause can now trigger once over every 20 seconds. It was 60 seconds, that's a huge buff. Poison Cleansing Totem now removes all poison effects from the target. Was 1, that's a huge buff too. Enfeeblement now applies during Hex and lasts for 6 seconds after Hex ends. Ancestral Wolf Affinity has moved to the class tree and removed from all spec trees. Okay, so all specs can now get that, that's pretty cool. Focus Insight has moved to the enhancement and elemental spec trees in place of Ancestral Wolf Affinity. Swirling Currents has been redesigned, increases the healing done by Healing Stream Totem and Cloudburst Totem by 10 to 20%. Several talents have moved positions in the class tree. Okay, so we have a lot of talent changes here. Healing Stream Totem has swapped positions with Spirit Walk's Grace. Swirling Currents has swapped with Graceful Spirit or / Spirit Walker's Aegis. Ancestral Guidance has swapped with Nature's Swiftness. Nature's Guardian has swapped with Totemic Surge. Earth Shield has swapped with Earth Elemental. Elemental Orbit has moved under Earth Shield in the talent tree. Starter builds have been updated for all 3 specs. So Resto, Druid, and Shaman. Resto, Shaman, and Druid. A lot of changes here in the talent tree, and just overall pretty big buffs. So Resto, let's look at Resto specifically. Lightning Bolt damage increased, Chain Lightning damage increased, Wellspring Healing reduced. Water Shield has been removed from the talent tree and is now learned at level 12. I feel like that's a good change. Water Shield does just like should be a passive, you know, you shouldn't have to spec into that. I feel like that's granted. Resurgence has moved to Water Shield's position in the talent tree. New talent, Current Controller, reduces the cooldown of Healing Tide Totem by 30 seconds. A new talent, Tide Turner. The lowest health target of Healing Tide Totem is healed by 30% more and receives 15% more healing free for 4 seconds. That's a really strong talent right there. A choice note has been added below Mana Tide Totem. New talent, temporary name. Temporary name. This talent seems crazy, man. Increases the duration and radius of Mana Tide Totem. Alright, guys, get that talent. New talent, Spirit Walk's Tidal Totem. They should have like a community like to vote on this. Like shamans should be able to vote on their name. Spirit Walk's Tidal Totem. After using Mana Tide Totem, the cast time of Healing Wave and Chain Heal is reduced, and the mana cost of Healing Wave and Chain Heal are reduced for 10 seconds. Slow the Tides now grants an additional bounce of Chain Heal in addition to its current effect. Unleash Life now converts 40% of Wellspring over Healing to an Absorb Shield, was 25%. It's buff. Ever-Rising Tide has been removed. Downpour has been moved to Ever-Rising Tide's position in Talent Tree. Nature's Focus has been removed. Isn't that the one where like you get like an instant cast? Like kind of, I think that's what that is. PvP talent, Tidebringer has moved to Nature's Focus position as a 2-point talent. A connection has been added between Tidebringer and Primal Tide Core / High Tide. Chain Heal's tooltip has been updated to indicate its jump distance to give more context to the Tidebringer talent. Call of Thunder has been removed. Stormkeeper has been moved to Call of Thunder's position in the talent tree. Acid Rain and Overflowing Shores are no longer on a choice node together. Acid Rain remains in its position, and Overflowing Shores is directly below Healing Rain. So overall, Shaman got a lot of like base changes in their talent trees, and then the Resto Druid got a lot of changes and a few buffs as well. These new talents seem pretty strong, and I think they just, like the Resto Druid, they're totally changing a few talents in the tree and changing their positioning and removing some. So so far the biggest changes are definitely Resto Druid and Resto Shaman. Dragonriding, this applies to everybody. Discover new dragon glyphs in the Forbidden Reach to unlock 2 new Dragonriding talents. Aerial Halts, flat back, reducing forward movement. Okay, so that's if you want to like go in one direction, like, oh, I don't want to go here anymore, this rare to spawn or something, you can just like flat back, reduce your forward movement. It'd be kind of weird to have to like spend a talent point on that though, you know, instead of just like turning around. Airborne Recovery, activating Aerial Halt while affected by Thrill the Skies generates 1 vigor. Okay, so this might not cost anything. If it costs something, then you kind of need this. Otherwise, you would just like move your cursor and turn around. 16 new customization manuscripts have been added. Put your Dragonriding skills to test in 6 new races. Dragon Race and World Quest have a new icon. Okay, it's a bug fix. NPCs, new Orgrimmar and Thunderbluff have new NPCs. Item and rewards. Item levels on Legacy raids in the Dungeon Journal should now properly reflect the dropped items once more. Vendors have found a use Dragonflight enchanting materials and are now interested in purchasing them. Oh, so you can sell your enchanting materials if you, for some reason, would want to do that. I guess if Auction House is like cluttered with them, you can sell them for a profit. I don't know. The Balance of Power questline artifact appearance rewards are now account-wide. After unlocking the base appearance, the criteria for additional color variants may be completed on any character to earn that appearance. That's a huge quality of life feature. Wow. For example, completing the requirements for certain color variants on your hunter will also be unlocked on your priest that's on the same account. Okay, I'm not sure what this questline is. I might have to check that out though. That's really cool. PvP. Resto Druids strength healing is doubled. While in arena combat with 5 or less allied players, that's pretty big. Keeper of Gross healing increase has been reduced to 20%. Additional healing was 100%, so that's a nerf. Mistweaver PvP revival healing is now increased by 100%. Same thing with restoral healing. Shaman PvP. All this is all healing specs. Resto. Healing tides and healing is now increased by 100%. So this is like all AoE heals. So they're like doubling AoE heals in for these specs in PvP. In arena. Living Tide reduces the cooldown of healing Tide Totem by 60 seconds, and it heals for 25% more each time it pulses. So they're like balancing this. So they're nerfing Living Tide, and then they're buffing Healing Tide Totem. Professions added a new profession spec summary screen, which can be viewed for any unlocked profession spec. Artwork is not final. Okay, so they're just like changing the UI a little bit for whatever like spec you pick in your professions. Okay, engineering. Zapthral Soul Inhaler has received several quality of life improvements. The device can now be used while moving. The channel time of the device has been reduced to 4 seconds, was 12. Channeling the device for its full duration now marks the target elemental for 30 seconds. Slaying it during this window will also grant a soul. The cooldown for a successful soul capture has been reduced to 5 minutes. Was 15 minutes. Okay, so this item here got buffed. And that's it, guys. Let me know what you think of these changes. You know, did your class get changed in a good way or a negative way? Let me know. I think they're really focusing on the healing aspects, which is good, because I know resto shamans are pretty much non-existent, and I think they need a buff. They're also changed Death Knight a little bit, and the biggest thing I'm most excited for in the next patch, even though I don't play Retribution Paladin, is that change. When you see a whole overhaul of a spec, that just means there's a lot of potential for it to be fun and new. I don't know about you Ret Paladins, but I know it's a strong spec right now, especially after the bust, but is it fun to play? From Blizzard, it says they don't think it is. They think it's kind of clunky right now. So they're totally revamping Retribution Paladin. That should be really interesting to see what they do with that. Kind of bummed there's no hunter changes. I think survival should have gotten a buffed here. I think survival definitely needs some changes to their talent tree as well. Right now, it's not a strong spec. It's a pretty awful spec. And once again, though, I think it's a niche spec, I guess. Not many people play it, but we've seen in Shadowlands that if it's buffed and is strong, people will gravitate towards the spec and have fun with it. Survival was popping off in Shadowlands at the end of the expansion, and a lot of people were playing that. So I really hope in the future, maybe the next patch, they can show some survival hunters some love here. Anyways, that's it from me, guys. Hope you like this video. Please, subscribe, thumbs up the video. That helps a lot. And I'll see you guys next time.